Welcome to another edition of Buck the World podcast with me on the road in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Alexander Juneau at home, repping the Bucks in Wisconsin. And we're excited for a Game 2 dominant win. Go Bucks. To you, Al.
You didn't really sound excited there.
I am excited. I am.
It just sounds faker every time. I don't know what to do about it at this point. The Bucks are 2 wins away from being in the NBA Finals.
No. The Raptors are underperforming. The Celtics are underperforming. They're too good for the Pistons. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all luck. They're not a good team, dude. I'm sorry.
I tweeted that I don't think there's a good team in the NBA this year, so the Bucks winning a title would not impress me.
No, not at all. No, they would have to win 3 before we could even talk about them being like a really great team. I'm sorry.
I just don't think the NBA is good enough for them at this point. Win a title against some real competition.
Did you see Giannis's transition dunk yesterday? It's clearly that was clearly a travel. So the NBA is a joke as it is. They need to beat every college team before. They need to go to Europe and beat every European team and every Chinese team.
If the Bucks could beat the Kentucky Wildcats, then we would have something to talk about.
Exactly. I think
maybe next year when Zion's in the league, there will be some competition.
I think my grandpa would love to see them beat the Wisconsin Badgers. I think that would he would become a Bucks fan then, probably. That would be what it would take.
I like that the Bucks have a center that can shoot, but where's the swing offense? Okay. Let's dive into this. So the last time we podcasted, me and you both predicted a Bucks series win. I believe we both had Bucks in 5, right?
You said 5, I said 5, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4. And then I overreacted as a stupid fan. I'm going to take listen in 30 listeners. We're growing here. We're growing 30 listeners. I'm going to take the L, take the big. I'm going to wave my flag. I was definitely kind of panicking a little bit in the first half. The Raptors just look so much better to me. And I was overreacting. I was emotional. I don't know how to handle this team being so good. The Bucks didn't play a great game in Game 1. We should probably start with Game 1 before we even get to Game 2. But the Bucks didn't play a great game in Game 1, and they still won. They went 0 for 11 in the third quarter from 3, right? Is it 11?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the right number.
They still won.
So I was at the game, and the entire time I kept saying regression. Almost fought a fan that was 2 rows in front of me because he kept yelling for Brooke to stop shooting. And I yelled, Brooke is the best shooter on our team. Keep shooting, Brooke. And every time Brooke Lopez would miss, I would yell, keep shooting, Brooke.
Dude, we're going, if I make it to Milwaukee, which by God I am for at least the finals. God, strike me down where I stand if I don't make it to the finals. We're going to a game together. We have to. Come on.
I'm not going to make any promises. I just can't do it. I also don't want to jinx it. I don't think I can jinx it, but I really don't want
even with the full power of superstition, I'm pretty sure the Bucks are going to the finals. I don't know if they're going to win, but we'll get to that several episodes from now.
Yeah. So basically, I knew the Bucks were going to win Game 1. I was just worried that they might run out of time. It was just, to me, it was just shooting. They looked a little rusty to come out of the gate, and is that important? Yeah. Their defense wasn't crisp. They've had better rotations and stuff like that, but for so much of it was just the fact that they were missing shots. And I don't know what it is about this series, but the 3-point misses are not hitting the top of the rim. They're hitting the side of the rim and the side of the backboard. And it looks outlier bad. And I don't know how to explain it, but a lot of shots went in tonight. And the Bucks didn't shoot a great percentage from 3 tonight. I think they were at 35 for most of the game. But they hit a bunch of big ones early to sort of bury it, and then it was over. So that's basically the story. I think the Raptors could steal one in Toronto because they have a good shooting night, but I don't really know if it's likely.
We switched to game 2 a little bit there, but I do want to talk a little bit more about game 1.
I'm not switching. I'm just talking about overall trends.
Yeah, no, that's good. Let's start with the first half of that game 1. There are a couple of interesting, like, I should have trusted the math. The Raptors were not doing anything inside the restricted area. They were hitting some mid-rangers. They were hitting every three. The Bucks were missing every three. The Bucks were still playing their brand of basketball, and they were just missing threes, right? Of course, as we know, they ended up winning. But I think the Raptors played the best team defense I've seen on the Bucks against the Bucks in the first half in a long time. Am I wrong in saying that? Please.
The Celtics were better.
Like overall in the series?
Celtics were better in game 1 and game 2 against the Bucks, specifically at containing Giannis, but also at stopping shooters than the Bucks have been than the Raptors have been this entire series.
So a lot of it was me just seeing misses and being frustrated.
Yeah. I actually thought the Bucks were getting fine looks in the first half.
That's what the data says. The data says we had more open looks than even the Raptors, which surprised me. Like, I don't know. It surprised me. But
I don't understand why on paper people think this Raptors team is so good. I don't know. Like, if you go by position, they might have some advantages. But if you go by, like, who's the best player? Giannis is better than Kawhi. Who's the second best player? Chris Middleton is better than, I don't know, Kyle Lowry.
See, he's better than Siakam too. Like,
he's better than Siakam too.
Yeah.
And maybe the third player, you're getting close to a draw if you consider that player to be Bledsoe. But if you're getting to the fourth player, Brook Lopez is better than Marc Gasol. Nikola Mirotic is better than Danny Green. Malcolm Brogdon's better than Danny Green. The Bucks have a better bench, and so like.
Oh, the bench. I mean, clearly the bench is the story of this series. I think so far that Raptors bench. I'm surprised it wasn't more of a narrative. Like, maybe it's because the Sixers bench was just so terrible. But man, that Raptors bench is really bad. It's really bad.
Because historically it's been a strength of theirs, and then it's never paid off, so they don't feel it's worth mentioning now that it's really bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, and you think I think part of it's Nick Nurse. Like, I'm not entirely sold on Nick Nurse as an elite coach.
I was a big fan of him prior to the series, but maybe a lot of that was like ESPN narrative love.
I don't think it was ESPN. I think it was your off-season narrative love that Nick Nurse was your number one choice for the Bucks head coach.
That is what I said.
And they hired Mike Budenholzer, who's top 3.
Well, Budenholzer has the resume. I was worried about the adjustments, and Nurse had the offensive shine to him for changing the Raptors under. Wow, I can't even. We just faced him against the Detroit, and I can't. Dwayne Casey. So he had that kind of luster of the assistant, like hidden assistant that the Bucks would discover, and I love that narrative. But and Budenholzer not being able to adjust scared the crap out of me. But we know that's not really an issue anymore for him. So
everything about the criticisms about Mike Budenholzer seems just silly to me. Like,
it was true. It was true. Like, it was
those Atlanta teams weren't that good. Like, I'm sorry he got swept by LeBron. It was prime LeBron.
Yeah,
like,
but
that was the team that beat. Wasn't that the team that beat the 73-win Warriors, or was that the year before?
That was the year before. I'm pretty sure. No,
I don't really care even.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna look it up because I don't really care that much.
That was the Delhi year when Delhi.
I think that was the second best LeBron team.
Billy secured
Actually,
his
I think the year
4-year
after would have
contract.
been better. Those 3 years were really good, though. It was the fourth year that the team really struggled. So, like, I don't know, spare me. Like, Al Horford's great and all, but you're not really going to do a lot with him as your best player. You know, if Jeff Teague's your primary creator, you're going to struggle a lot. Eric Bledsoe's better than Jeff Teague. So they have him as a secondary creator, and they have Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo out there creating. So, like, this is the best team he's ever had.
You're right, but like
And
there was a lot of concern with this. I mean, it was less with the Raptors, but it was more with the Celtics that they would expose us, and you have that critical like detail that we had that Bledsoe like pushed. Of course, grain of salt, but Bledsoe pushed Budenholzer to let them try switching, and basically when they started switching against the Celtics, it was over. So. I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, no,
To
it's fair. It's hard to determine. We're not in the locker room.
Yeah. So I guess for me, the big takeaway from game one is I don't know. Like I was telling everybody, I thought the Bucks would win big tonight. Like I just thought that we were going to have some regression. We were going to shoot 35% from three, and the Raptors were going to try and run it back. You can't run that back. You're not going to get Kyle Lowry on that hot of a shooting night again. Kyle Lowry's not that good of a shooter. He's a fine shooter,
wild.
but he's not a 7 of 9 guy. Literally, literally every three he hit, I was like, "What's going on?" Like I was just confused.
Those dirty.
He's never done that before in his career. There's absolutely no reason he should hit that.
He had one tonight in like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, this isn't going to happen again. So when Kyle Lowry wasn't Steph Curry tonight, wasn't that close. For me, that's where it starts and ends.
Kyle Lowry?
The fact that what they did in game one wasn't sustainable, and what we did in game two or game one, wasn't.
Like look at trends. Like there's there. I think I tweeted about it last night, 2 nights ago. Was that 2 nights ago? I don't know. I've been traveling, as we know. These days blur together, but so the Raptors were running. Their pace has been magnified, like tripled in this series. They were 15th in pace in the regular season. The Bucks were, I don't know, at least top 5, if not, like I'm pretty sure they were top 5. The Raptors switched around. They ran a higher pace sense of basketball. That's not their style. They started hitting every single three in game one. The Bucks also did a couple things a few things that were not their brand. They were like a tremendous offensive rebounding team in game one. They were 27th in the NBA in the regular season. Brook Lopez scored 29 points. He was electric, dynamic. He had 27 total points against the Celtics. He was pretty crazy. But they also shot horribly from three. So it was a weird game. But one of the things that I wanted to not forget about with game one was when I saw that Brook Lopez performance, I didn't think, like a lot of people think, a lot of people thought outlier, right? And he didn't put up those numbers tonight in game two, right? I didn't think outlier. I thought, here's a guy doing what the team needs out of necessity because he has that ability to work inside the perimeter. He did it.
He took 21 shots. Like I just didn't find anything about it to be that crazy, aside from the fact that the Raptors were giving him more opportunities than he had in most games.
Yeah, like it's as simple as he did it because like the team needed it and he had the capability. Isn't that like take a step back, take a deep breath. Like, isn't that amazing that the Bucks have the capacity to have this guy who's just a defensive, like he's just a strong side defender inside the paint and a 3-point specialist. Also, like, remember that he was an all-star years ago for being like a paint scorer menace, and then just like recall all of that and then use it. Like how cool is that, right?
That's
pretty
what
awesome.
that's what this Bucks team is, though. It's not the Giannis Antetokounmpo show.
No,
Giannis powers everything. Giannis is at the center of everything.
Giannis is the
Opens
infinity
up things
gauntlet.
for everything.
Yeah.
But like tonight, we saw the Ursan Ilyasova show. We saw Ursan sort of pop off in that second quarter, and he won them the game basically in that stretch. They took a commanding lead, and it was basically over from that point on. The Raptors had some runs and stuff like that, but that's this Bucks team. Any single night, you can get it from about 9 different guys. One of these days it's going to be the Chris Middleton show again. Eric Bledsoe's had his games.
What are you talking about?
Malcolm Brogdon's been great the first 2 games. Mirotic will have his games. Ursan will have his games. Connaughton will probably have a game eventually, maybe. George Hill has had his games against the Celtics.
He had a lot of games against the Celtics.
That's what this series is now. Like not this series. That's what this playoff run is now. There's 9 guys that can give it to you on any single night, and that's what makes this Bucks team so great.
But and it's wild. Like Ben Thompson tweeted out. He was showing what looked to be, based on the type font, a ringer screenshot of the Bucks are going to make the finals if everything goes great for them. If everything goes perfectly, like
that was Marcus Thompson at the Athletic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't recognize your type fonts. That's pretty embarrassing.
I'm sorry. So
no, but that's like, I just want to make something clear. This season, the Bucks have won as many playoff series as the Pelicans have with 9 years of Anthony Davis. No, 8 years.
And you're referring to that specific point when he talks about like everything needs to go perfectly for Giannis to stay.
I'm referring to like that. I'm referring to Woj saying the clock is ticking. I'm referring to like it's garbage. Like
it's so frustrating. Like
the Bucks built a contender. The Bucks are going to take at least 2 games off the Warriors. They can win an NBA title this year, and yet we were talking with 4 years left on his contract that Giannis was good as gone. Despite him never saying that he wanted to leave.
I mean, I understand. Like you're in this national bubble. Like at some point this offseason, I want to talk about like bubbles, like in the type of people you talk to within these bubbles in the NBA, because it's pretty clear that there's like patterns there. But you have this national bubble. Like Milwaukee has been awful for so many years, or middling to awful to embarrassingly ran. Is it a sexy national narrative to say, like, this is Captain Obvious Bill for our great listeners out there, but it's not a sexy national narrative to say like the Bucks are great. They're historically great for such like this and this reason, A, B, C, and D. They are, but the skepticism is still there. I understand why the story, it doesn't make it any less frustrating to me as like a fact-based person. I don't know. I just want to rant about it. It's frustrating. Like, cause you were right. Like, look at me. Like I even was like, let's talk about it. I was like, we were so focused on the Celtics as like this matchup problem for the Bucks, which they were. And, a lot of people thought that they were a bigger problem than the Raptors would present just because of matchups, even if they're not as good a team. And, ultimately, we're 2 games in, so that could change. But
that looks like it might be true.
It looks like it's 100% true. And I thought that was like silly because like I thought the NBA was so talent driven that talent ultimately would win the day when the playoffs came. But I don't know. And I think that the Raptors are more talented than the Celtics. I don't know.
I don't know. I like, give me Al Horford over anybody besides Kawhi Leonard on the Raptors.
Yeah, but who else? Like, I mean, would you rather have
Kyrie over besides Kawhi on the Raptors?
That's fair, but I mean, I don't know. I still love Kyle Lowry. He's kind of a plus minus juggernaut from right.
Give me Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown over Danny Green. Like, they don't have a Pascal Siakam type guy, but they didn't have an absolute zero at center like Marcus Gasol is. I don't know what to say. Marcus Gasol's been garbage, and
Man,
he's
imagine if
been
that
so
team.
historically good.
Yeah, I don't, because I'm a huge Marc Gasol fan. Like, as this guy who's really smart defensively, this excellent passing guy who operates out of the elbows. Like, I don't know. I don't know what. I
You know
don't know
what?
what.
You know
I
what
don't know
bothers me?
what.
Didn't we have like a 3-year stretch of Defensive Player of the Year awards where it was like Tyson Chandler, Joakim Noah, and Marc Gasol? Or was there somebody else in between there? Because those 3 guys are all absolute garbage now, and that wasn't that long ago. Like, Marc Gasol's the most relevant one. Is Tyson Chandler is on the Lakers? I think he was absolutely horrible.
He's like old now, right? To be fair,
Yeah, but Joakim Noah's not old.
no,
Like,
he's
these guys
not. But
disappeared fast.
but
Like,
centers, like, to be fair, big men centers, they wear down typically more, like, because they're taking a beating because they're large men, and genetically, like, being as large as they are, like, it. There's a pattern there with big men, typically, like, right?
sure. It just bothers me that Draymond Green is going to end this era with only, like, is he ever going to win Defensive Player of the Year again? Because he doesn't try in the regular season, but like,
Yeah.
he's the best defender in the league right now. So that's frustrating. It also sucks that Rudy Gobert is going to win it this year, and Rudy Gobert can't defend in space, and he's garbage. Like, Giannis was named a finalist, and I'm going to be so mad that Rudy Gobert is going to win it by a pretty good margin over him.
He'll get like 1 or 2 votes, but he's not going to win.
They already have like 8 votes reported for Giannis for first place based on the 18 people who have revealed their ballots.
For Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, so it might be closer than you think it's going to be.
That's good. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I think he's going to be handily in second.
Yeah.
Over the third place guy. I didn't even see who the third place finalist was. I think it's Paul George. So good for Paul George for being top 3 in MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. He's third in both of them, but good for him, I guess. So sometimes the shade is just necessary to grow.
Yeah, whatever. Like, it's not going to bother Giannis, and that's part of why. Like, you saw the postseason chat or the post-game chat that Giannis had with, like, he was like, I don't care about MVP, whatever. Let's finish the series. Let's keep moving. Like, I love Giannis.
Yeah,
like,
but I care.
Look at this shirt. This is my Giannis shirt. This is my favorite Giannis shirt. Got this at Fiserv. I love this shirt.
This is one of my 6 Giannis Antetokounmpo jerseys.
Is that a Kia sponsored like jersey that they were handing out at a game?
No, this is a jersey. I just got a T-shirt on under it.
Oh,
this is terrible podcasting, though.
It's all right. It's visual on YouTube, listeners. Check out our ugly mugs on YouTube. But you're right. Anyways, I wanted to take this chance. I want you to illustrate. I want you to storytell. Give me that oral
Definitely cut out there.
Hey, we're back.
Are you back?
We're live. We're back. We can cut this to no race. We're good.
You're very blurry and I can't hear you if you're talking, so maybe you're not back. That's brutal.
I'm back. Hold on.
The question is, should I power ahead and finish it solo? Or should we call it? Or should we start a second half podcast and then you stitch them together?
That's yes, that.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, invite me to the new one, I guess.
Yeah.
You're going to have to end this one's live, though. It still says it's live.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.